In this presentation, I will demonstrate to you how you could use OsiriX along with Photoshop to simulate an operation. This is an overview, and for more detailed instructions, you need to seek out an expert in OsiriX. Much of what I am going to demonstrate to you in this presentation comes from my learning of OsiriX from Professor Philippe Pellerin, Professor of Plastic Surgery at University of Lille, France, at the ESPN course in Montpellier, which was held from 3rd to the 7th of June 2013. While most of the techniques are what I learned from Professor Pellerin, there are some differences, particularly regarding orientation. What Professor Pellerin does is far more detailed. OsiriX is a software for viewing as well as manipulating DICOM images on your personal computers, particularly Apple computers. It doesn't work on Windows. The fact that it allows you to work on your own personal computer is the strength of OsiriX. OsiriX allows you to manipulate CT scan images and MRI scan images in 2D as well as in 3D. However, when Photoshop is also combined, the degree of manipulation that you can achieve is vastly increased. This combination of OsiriX and Photoshop allows you, in effect, to simulate operations, particularly in surgery for craniofacial abnormalities. OsiriX is free to download from the web. Photoshop is from Adobe and it's an expensive software. Another flavor of Photoshop is called Photoshop Extended. It is very powerful. It allows importing of DICOM images and reconstruction of 3D images. However, it's very, very expensive. A more economical version of Photoshop is Photoshop Elements. I have not tried Photoshop Elements myself for this tutorial, but I am pretty sure that you should be able to use Photoshop Elements to complete the steps. But please check with the trial version. This tutorial takes you through a number of steps. The steps include importing of the image into OsiriX, orientating the image, this is adjusting the gantry using a plugin, 3D reconstruction, scaling the image. The scaling the image meaning you need to know what the scale of the image is. This is something that you can achieve it yourself. Calculating the pixel per centimeter ratio, exporting the image as JPEG, importing the JPEG image into Photoshop, calibrating the Photoshop using the scale for the image that you obtained while you are working with OsiriX. Then you have to simulate the operation that you are planning. In my demonstration, I will highlight or select the supraorbital ridge and then try to translate and rotate it. So these are the steps that I'm going to demonstrate in the rest of this tutorial. And then select your DICOM images and then click import. It should import all those images. When we have an image, we need to know the scale. With OsiriX, we can draw a line which gives the dimension. However, when we export it to Photoshop, we need to have a scale so that when we manipulate in Photoshop, we know the length of the drawings that we are making. To do that, first of all, we need to draw a line. So this line is 13.68 centimeters in length. And now we need to see how many pixels are covering this length. For this, we will use the free ruler. So I will position the free ruler and then measure the pixels covering this length. So I have got 292 pixels cover a line of 13.68 centimeters. Now let's calculate how many pixels are in a centimeter on this image. To do that, we put 292 pixels divided by 13.68. So what does that give? So 1 centimeter covers 21.345 pixels. You would have noticed that the info box gave the number actually in millimeters. So to change it, what you need to do is to go to Photoshop, Preferences, Units, and here in the rulers, if you put centimeters, then next time that you draw, you see that in fact it's now in centimeters. So this is how you change the scale on Photoshop.